We set up an electronic picture frame on the counter in our kitchen. When I walk in, day or night, the frame magically boots up and draws me into moments from the past. Slide follows slide randomly, jumping decades forward or back, switching from my husband Jamie's family back to mine, and then to ours together. Here is my mother. May she rest in peace. Arm around a 10-year-old me as I clutch Timmy, my beloved Chihuahua. And next up, a formal shot. This one taken in 19th century Poland. Jamie's great-grandpa Jacob, his namesake, and all his siblings in suits before they came to America. And here we are next, carrying the Torahs into this new sanctuary, 2005. Jamie's dad in his Navy uniform. This summer at the beach, the girls' bat mitzvahs. People, places, landmarks come and go, like time itself.
525,600 minutes.
Our honeymoon.
525,000 moments so
1950s Long Island Seder.
525,600 minutes.
200 rabbis, all women.
How do you measure our years?
My best friend.
In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter, in strife, in 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life?
How do you measure a year of life? Isn't that what we're doing here? It's Rosh Hashanah, Yom HaZikaron, the day to remember. Today we boot up a year's worth of memory and project on our mind's eye the bright smiles and the, oh, I wish I could forget, of the year gone by. And doesn't it feel like we were just here? Is the calendar playing tricks on us, or has it really been 525,600 minutes since we sat in these seats to welcome a new year? Memory, of course, doesn't take us along a straight path. We can't predict which image will fade and which will stick with us forever. Usually we're burdened with total recall of our awkward stumbles, our missed opportunities. But today, in the quiet of this sanctuary, we seek to measure it all. Today, we take precious time to slow down the clock, to replay the sunsets and the midnights, the good talks over cups of coffee and those sleepless nights of worry. We heap up on the life scale the garbage and the glory and everything in between. We return here to come to grips somehow with life passing, with time passing. Yes, to come to grips with our lives passing. Just so you can get your bearings, We are approximately 1,000 minutes into the new year, 5772, and change. The first time I heard the lyrics from the signature song, Seasons of Love, from the musical Rent, I was struck by its prayer-like power. In fact, I printed the words out, and I carried them in my high holiday prayer book for a really long time. And it's no surprise to me that Rent's creator, Jonathan Larson, was Jewish. Sadly, ironically, Larson died of undiagnosed heart problems at age 36. One day before Rent's 1997 premiere. I hope Mr. Larson would be touched to see his sermonic song go now from Broadway to Bema. Reading those lyrics again this summer, it felt finally like the right year to use his song as liturgy and commentary. This year, because we are living through an era when time seems to be measured not in minutes or days or months, but from one disaster to the next. This year has shown us that there are forces and situations way beyond our control that consume our hours and our days. Layoffs and unemployment, illnesses and setbacks, tornadoes, tsunamis, stock market swings, mostly down, pensions eaten up, a discontented country, and a gridlocked Washington. We can lose hope for so many reasons, plummeting into the national pall of pessimism. A story from the Middle Ages, another epoch of deep despair, a time when Jews and many others had so little hope. In a small town, a Jewish man was fingered for a crime he did not commit and sentenced to life in prison. No bribes or pleas from his community could secure his release, and years passed. One day, on a whim, the prisoner asked his jailer, could he attend just one day of shul with his community, pray just one more time in his synagogue? To his shock, the request was granted, and quickly he wrote his rabbi, "What day shall I come to pray? On the one hand, I'd like to daven on Yom Kippur to seek forgiveness for my sins on the holiest day of the Jewish year. On the other hand, I could celebrate my one day of freedom on Purim, a day of merriment and joy. Which should I choose?" To which the wise rabbi wrote back, "No one knows what tomorrow will bring, or next Purim, or Yom Kippur. When should you use this gift? Go now. Choose today." Today. Today is what we know we have. As another brilliant Larson lyric from Rent echoes the rabbi of long ago, "No day but today. My only goal is just to be. There is only here, only now. No day but today." Hayom. Hayom, the word for today in Hebrew, translates with greater urgency than the English. It translates as the day, this day, Hayom, today, and perhaps no other. And if today is what we know we have, how will we use it? Will we be locked in a cycle of spiraling despair, or will we be determined to make every minute count? A colleague of mine remarked recently, Rosh Hashanah is the big tick-tock. Tick-tock. How will we, blessed really with so much freedom, how will we choose to live Hayom today? And tick-tock. How, when all the days of our lives are added up, complete, how will we be remembered? Our prayer book says, Hayom Harat Olam. Today the world is born new again, the anniversary of its creation in primordial time. So it is our birthday too. The day we vow with urgency to turn toward the better people we most want to be. Birthdays do that to us. Rosh Hashanah does that to us. Pulls us back here, tugs us to these seats, to the prayers that prod and push us out of our torpor and out of our excuses. Pulls us back to the minutes of a year, to our own stories, to our own revolving picture frames of life. The images bright or dim in our memories. We scroll through them, we pull them into the light. We relive the feelings, taking in the enormity of the year in a life. What felt just right? What could we have done better? Time lost, time well spent. Watch those pictures now in your mind.
$525,600 minutes, 525,000 journeys to plan, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman or a man in truths that she learned?
In truths that she learned. I dodged the bullet this time. It was my wake-up call. Now I know what is really important. We've all said these words, these truths, or nodded our heads in firm agreement when a friend says them. When someone close to us, or our spouse, a neighbor, ourselves, is diagnosed, or hurt, or felled out of the blue in an instant. We learn how vulnerable we are, how fragile, how short is life. The truth we learn, we vow to put our priorities back in order again.
Or in times that he cried,
times he cried, "Please don't cry at my bat mitzvah," a teenager begs her dad. But he cried when she was born, when she went off to kindergarten, and when she moved into her freshman dorm. And he cries during the evening news when he sees the hungry kids her age. There is in this world beauty enough to exalt the soul, pain enough to break our hearts, and we are meant to weep. Tears of joy and tears of compassion so intense we are shaken from complacency to action. The times that he cried. Did we shed grateful tears in the year gone by? Will we use our love and our strength this year to bring justice into our world?
In bridges he burned.
Oh, those bridges we burn. It can happen in a split second. A moment of anger, impatience, the wrong tone, an ill-chosen word. I am right, and you are wrong. We dig in. Maybe even now as we remember it, hearts hardened more by time, we still think we are so right. The Midrash teaches, holding on to a grudge is like taking a spoonful of poison every day, hoping that your enemy will get sick. But how sweet the taste in our mouths, how long and free the moment we release our grudges. How many minutes left to repair the damage? We just don't know. Hayom. No day like today.
Or the way that she died.
The way she died. This is the season we ask, who will live and who will die? There's no way to know how long will be our journey from life to eternity. But in the most important ways, we choose how we live and how we die. That freedom is in our hands already. The way that she died, who never satisfied, and who with few regrets, who still complaining, and who still offering love, who held her possessions with a closed fist, and who gave with open hands, who by harboring grudges and who by forgiving imperfections. And we ask, who must I embrace today, this day, while I still have time?
525,600 minutes, 525,000 journeys to plan, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman or a man?
long before Larson captured his generation with Rent. The rock group The Byrds, remember them? Transformed a text from Ecclesiastes with a melody that became a baby boomer anthem.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven.
Beautiful as the text is, as much as we loved that song, that is actually not life as we know it. We don't have time for this and for that. No, we are stunned, stupefied sometimes at how fast a life flashes by, how hard it is to capture, to understand, to make the most of, and how at the end there is usually too little time left for all we wish to learn and to do and to be. Consider instead the Israeli poet Yehuda Amichai's version of the text. A man doesn't have time in his life to have time for everything. He doesn't have seasons enough to have a season for every person. Ecclesiastes was wrong about that. A man needs to love and hate at the same moment, to laugh and cry with the same eyes, with the same hands to throw stones and gather them, to make love in war and war in love, and to hate and forgive, to remember and forget, to arrange and confuse, to eat and digest what history takes years and years to do. A man doesn't have time. When he loses, he seeks. When he finds, he forgets. When he forgets, he loves. When he loves, he begins to forget. Amichai and Larson and all the great teachers of Judaism before them understood the big tick-tock. Minute to minute, we must notice how remarkable are the unremarkable moments ticking by. Day by day, we weave together a messy patchwork life of trial and triumph, love and disappointment, glory and garbage. Hayom. Today we start counting. Start making real that unquenchable hope that we can make ourselves anew even within the boundaries of our circumstances, whatever they are. Hayom. Today. The day to step out of the self-made prisons for which we already hold the keys. Hayom. The day to make our time-bound journey more sacred than mundane. Hayom, to stick with our tasks, but to elevate our vision, adding more moments of meaning, purpose, forgiveness, connection, and compassion to our lives. Hayom. To bring past and future together through the clear lens of today, this holy day. That is how we measure a year, a good new year, a sweet new year of life.
525,600